Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for hanging with us as we solved some technical problems here with our webinar. I'd like to welcome you to this morning's webinar. We're pleased that you've joined us for today's webinar titled 2023 Key Financial Numbers. The webinar will last approximately 20 minutes, and at the end, you will be given an opportunity to receive supporting materials by email, free of charge to you. You will also be told how you may email questions related to today's content to the presenter. Today's presenter will be Jennifer Lawler. Jennifer is a lawyer and senior consultant with Advanced Underwriting Consultants, where she's worked for more than 8 years. She and the folks at AUC answer tax and technical questions posed by producers every day. Prior to joining AUC, Jennifer worked with Nashville area closely held business owners on their tax issues and their estate planning documents. Jennifer will draw on her legal, tax, and financial services experience during today's webinar, and here she is.
Thanks, Linus, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar, Key Financial Numbers That You Should Know for 2023. We'll just briefly touch on a few of these numbers during the webinar. And at the end of the webinar, I will send everybody who registered today a copy of our most recent issue of Think About It. This issue of Think About It will have all of the numbers that you'll need to know for 2023. And like I said, I'll automatically send it to everybody who registered for today's webinar at the end. Typically at this point, we would choose a topic for the next webinar, but with the recent, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that that we're showing the right screen. With the recent updates with the Secure Act 2.0 being passed, we are going to actually cover it. We're going to dive right in and cover that material in February. So don't forget to join us for what will be a really good webinar covering new legislation on February 1st at 11 o'clock. All the way back in the beginning of December, the topic that was chosen for the February webinar was everything you need to know about gift taxes. But as I just mentioned, with the new legislation, we decided we'd cover that in February. And so we're going to push gift taxes back to March. So mark a calendar for that one as well. After every election cycle, there's a lot of chatter about tax changes. Secure Act 2.0 aside, there has been no new real tax legislation for 2023. If there is any new legislation, we here at Advanced Underwriting will cover it as quickly as possible. Likewise, if any of the numbers that we cover today are readjusted, as sometimes happens, we will address those updates as well. Every year, there are potential adjustments to various key numbers based on the Federal Cost of Living Index. As anyone who has purchased anything in the past year can tell you, the cost of living for the quarter ended September 30th, 2022 is much higher than the cost of living for the same quarter in 2021. This has resulted in some cases significantly higher numbers for 2023 than those we had for 2022. We're going to briefly highlight a few important numbers for retirement planning for individuals, individual tax planning, and a few miscellaneous numbers that are just good numbers to know. So like I said, we're just gonna briefly highlight a few of these numbers, and then you'll find more detail in the issue of Think About It that I will be emailing you. We're gonna start with a few key retirement numbers for 2023. We'll see how they compare to 2022's numbers as well. These numbers are numbers that we would expect to be revisited throughout the year if you work much in qualified retirement planning. We're going to start with the maximum contribution that can be made to a defined benefit plan under Section 415. The 2023 max is $66,000. This number includes employee and employer contributions to defined benefit plans. As you can see, this number jumped by $5,000, which is a fairly significant increase for this number for a one-year period. The 2023 limit on employee deferrals into Section 401k, 403b, and 457b plans is $22,500, up from $20,500 in 2022. The catch-up for those aged 50 or older by the end of the year was also increased to $7,500. It's worth mentioning that this limit is a per person limit and not a per plan limit. So for 2023, those aged 50 or older can put away up to $30,000 into these types of retirement plans. Taken together, that's a fairly significant increase over previous years. The maximum elective deferral for simple IRAs or simple 401ks also increased for 2023, up to $15,500. The age 50 catch-up for simple plans is $3,500 for a grand total deferral of $19,000 for simple plan participants aged 50 or older in 2023. IRA contributions do not increase every year and have remained steady for the past few years, but we did get an increase for 2023. In 2023, those with earned income can contribute up to $6,500 to their IRA. The age 50 catch-up did remain the same at $1,000. So in 2023, those aged 50 or older with enough earned income to contribute can contribute up to $7,500 to their IRA. It's worth mentioning that this is a per person limit rather than a per IRA type limit, meaning that you cannot contribute $6,500 to a traditional IRA and then another $6,500 to a Roth IRA. Deductibility as well as Roth eligibility, of course, depend on income limits and thresholds that are included in the numbers issue of Think About It. Now we're going to shift to some of the key individual numbers for 2023. There really hasn't been any new significant legislation to change the 2023 numbers, just the index, the inflation index. But if there happened to be any new legislation, this is an area that we might expect to see that change, however unlikely that change may be. The individual income tax rates remain the same at 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, and 37. But the income thresholds for these brackets did increase because of inflation. Rather than boring everyone to death with those numbers here, I'll let you look for those in the issue of Think About It. Likewise, the capital gains rates brackets remain the same at 0, 15, and 20% for 2023. The federal gift and estate tax exemption did increase from $12.06 million to $12.92 million per person in 2023. A married couple will have a combined exemption of $25.9 million in 2023. The annual gift exclusion also increased for the second year in a row, up to $17,000. So a married couple can gift up to $34,000 to any individual without the need to file a gift tax return in 2023. The Medicare surtax is still something that will remain on the radar for 2023. Those with significant investment income, whose total income exceeds $250,000 for joint filers or over $200,000 for single filers, need to be aware that it may apply to them. QCDs are something that we here at AUC love. If you have any questions about them, please contact us. We'll be happy to help. QCDs are a great way for those that are 70 and a half or older to give to a qualified charity while satisfying their RMD. Eligible taxpayers can gift up to $100,000 in a year through QCDs without the gift being included in their taxable income. QCDs are also available for inherited IRAs. For those recently inherited IRAs that have to be liquidated quicker, QCDs can be a great planning tool for those who are charitably minded and are age 70 and a half or older. Now we're going to move on to some of those miscellaneous numbers that are just good numbers to know. From time to time, the IRS increases the mileage rates for things like business miles, medical miles, and charitable miles driven. To no one's surprise, those increased for 2023. The business use mileage rate for 2023 is up to 65.5 cents per mile. The medical and moving mileage rate went up to 22 cents per mile, while the charitable mileage rate stayed steady at 14 cents per mile. In 2023, a qualified long-term care policy can pay a tax-free benefit of $420 a day or actual expenses, whichever is higher. So that's a good number to know. C Corp rates remain the same at 21%. This is a number that's been floated around for change a couple of times, so it's one we'll be keeping our eye on throughout the year. The 20% deduction for pass-through businesses, including sole proprietorships, S-corps, and partnerships, is still available for 2023. The full deduction is available for single filers with taxable income less than $182,100 and joint filers with taxable income below $364,200. The deduction starts to phase out and then is completely phased out when income exceeds these thresholds. Again, the detail for how this works, how that phase out works, can be found in the issue of Think About It that I'll be emailing you all. In some exciting news, Medicare Part B premiums actually decreased for 2023. The standard Part B premium for 2023 will be $164.90. That's a $5.20 decrease from the 2022 premium of $170.10. As you know, when income exceeds $97,000 for single filers or $194,000 for married filers, those premiums go up. The premium for higher earners, and they decreased across the board. So the premiums for higher earners decreased to $230.80, $329.70, $428.60, $527.50, or $560.50, depending on how high the taxpayer's income is. And again, the detail for those numbers will be found in the issue of Think About It. These numbers are just a few of the updates for 2023. These updates almost always have a direct effect on our clients' planning for the year. Being up to date on these numbers allows us to better help our clients plan for the coming year. Likewise, being knowledgeable about these numbers allows us to better serve our business owner clients. The low tax environment for C Corp owners and available pass-through deductions can help create planning strategies for those eligible business owners. These numbers may help ease some of the anxieties of our high income, high net worth clients, the anxieties that they're feeling about the current tax climate and the unknown. But perhaps most importantly, these updated numbers create an opportunity to reach out to our clients to discuss their needs and concerns. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be sending out our most recent issue of Think About It to those in attendance today. Thanks for sticking with us through our technical difficulties. We'd like to wish you all a prosperous and happy new year. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Linus.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you all for joining us today. As Jennifer mentioned, she's going to be sending you supporting materials related to today's content. If you have questions related to today's webinar, feel welcome to email us at asktheexpert@advancedunderwriting.com. That's asktheexpert@advancedunderwriting.com. Feel welcome to join us for the next webinar on the first Wednesday of next month, February 1st, at this same time. Hopefully we'll start on time that month. Next month's webinar will be titled Secure Act 2.0. You can also find an archive of past webinars on our YouTube channel, Advanced Underwriting Consultants. Feel welcome to subscribe to our YouTube channel because it helps us to keep making free webinar content. Today's presentation will be posted on our YouTube channel by the end of this week. And finally, for more information about the services that Advanced Underwriting Consultants offer, including phone consultation and newsletter licensing, feel welcome to contact us at 615-224-1291. That's 615-224-1291. Thanks again, and best wishes for continued success in 2023.